The year 2025 was set to be America's grand soccer prelude, a moment that would capture the world's attention and ignite a new era for the sport in the United States. The US, Canada, and Mexico were preparing to host the biggest World Cup ever, a tournament that would span 3 nations and unite millions of fans across North America. Excitement surged nationwide, from the gleaming new stadiums in Los Angeles to the storied fields of Boston, as cities readied themselves for a global spectacle. The U.S. men's national team, as hosts, would open at the iconic SoFi Stadium, stepping onto the pitch with the hopes of a nation behind them. This was more than sports. It was a celebration of unity and culture, a chance for people from every background to come together and share in the joy of the beautiful game. Ticket demand was staggering. Over 4 million people from 216 countries entered the lottery, hoping for a chance to witness history in person. The host nations, US, Mexico, and Canada, led the demand, but fans from every corner of the globe were eager to be part of this unprecedented event. FIFA President Gianni Infantino promised the most inclusive, exciting event ever, vowing that this World Cup would set new standards for passion and participation. For American fans, it was the culmination of a decades-long dream, a chance to see their country at the center of the world's biggest sporting stage. The expanded 48-team format meant a festival of football across 11 U.S. cities, each one preparing to welcome the world with open arms and vibrant celebrations. Cities like Seattle and Kansas City planned massive fan fests and celebrations, transforming their streets into rivers of color, music, and energy. Billions in economic windfall were projected for local businesses, from hotels and restaurants to souvenir shops and transportation services. The U.S. was ready to showcase its diversity and world-class infrastructure to billions of viewers, determined to leave a lasting impression on the global stage. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing, one that threatened to overshadow the months of careful planning and anticipation. The foundation of this plan relied on trust between FIFA, host cities, and the federal government, all working together to deliver a flawless event. That trust was about to be tested in a very public way, as the world watched and waited for the next chapter to unfold. No one expected that a single political statement would soon shake the entire dream, sending shockwaves through the heart of America's World Cup ambitions. The first crack appeared in late September 2025, a moment that would send shockwaves far beyond American borders. President Donald Trump, in a move that stunned both sports and political worlds, publicly threatened to move World Cup matches out of U.S. cities he deemed unsafe for players and fans. He singled out cities like Seattle and San Diego, labeling them as run by radical left lunatics, igniting fierce debate and outrage across the nation. This was an unprecedented political intrusion into international sport, with the president's words echoing all the way to FIFA's headquarters in Zurich. Trump framed his threats as a matter of national security, pointing to recent National Guard deployments and unrest in several cities as justification. Host cities, bound by contracts with FIFA and already deep in preparations, were thrown into panic and outrage, scrambling to respond to the sudden political storm. Mayors fired back, accusing the president of using the World Cup as a political pawn and undermining years of planning and investment. The dispute escalated rapidly, turning what should have been a celebration of sport into front-page political drama, dominating headlines and talk shows. The world watched in disbelief as the host nation seemed to unravel months before kickoff, with fans and players alike left in limbo. Uncertainty reigned. Could FIFA trust U.S. guarantees? Or would the tournament be forced to find new hosts at the last minute? Would all cities be safe for teams and fans? Or would security concerns overshadow the world's biggest sporting event? The U.S. was set to host 60 of 80 matches, including all from the quarterfinals onward, a massive responsibility now clouded by political turmoil. The tournament's structure, once seen as a triumph of international cooperation, was now in jeopardy. The beautiful game was suddenly mired in ugly politics, leaving the fate of the World Cup and the unity it represents hanging in the balance. FIFA didn't stay silent. The organization, known for its strict governance and global reach, quickly made its stance clear. Vice President Victor Montagliani publicly rebuked Trump, declaring, "It's FIFA's tournament, FIFA's jurisdiction." His words echoed around the world, sending a message that FIFA would not be pushed around by any government, no matter how powerful. No political leader, not even the US president, could move matches unilaterally. The rules were clear, and FIFA intended to enforce them. FIFA's contracts with host cities are ironclad, signed with cities and federations, not heads of state. These agreements are the backbone of the World Cup, ensuring stability and fairness for all involved. By threatening to override these, Trump was picking a fight with FIFA itself, challenging the very foundation of the tournament's organization. Behind the scenes, FIFA held emergency meetings, alarmed by the instability. The leadership debated how to respond, weighing the risks of confrontation. The US had won the bid on promises of stability and cooperation. It was supposed to be a safe bet, a showcase for American hospitality and unity. Now, the federal government was the main source of instability. Political turmoil threatened to overshadow the spirit of the games. Immigration crackdowns threatened travel for teams and fans. The world watched nervously as uncertainty grew about who would be allowed to enter the country. The US looked less like a reliable partner, more like a risk. The image of American dependability was suddenly in question. With the final draw looming, FIFA faced a choice: yield to politics or protect the tournament. The stakes had never been higher for the organization or the sport. The world's most popular sport was holding its breath, waiting to see if the beautiful game could rise above the chaos of politics. Amid the chaos, Canada saw opportunity. With Vancouver and Toronto ready, Canadian officials watched the US crisis unfold. Premier David Eby of British Columbia wrote to FIFA, offering to host any matches needing relocation. Vancouver's BC Place and Toronto's stadiums were world-class and ready. Canada had the infrastructure, political will, and public support to expand its role. While the US threatened to shrink its involvement, Canada volunteered to grow. The contrast was stark. One partner created problems, the other offered solutions. For FIFA, Canada's offer was a lifeline. Instead of scrambling for a new continent, FIFA could shift the tournament north. The idea gained traction within FIFA. The quiet neighbor was suddenly the hero, ready to save the World Cup. The world watched as Canada stepped into the spotlight. On October 7, 2025, the bombshell dropped. FIFA stripped the US of its primary hosting rights, citing political interference and instability. FIFA President Infantino announced Canada would become the main host for 2026. The majority of matches, including the final, would move to Canadian cities. Vancouver's BC Place would host the final. Mexico's role remained unchanged. The decision was a stunning rebuke to the US. No nation is bigger than the game. FIFA emphasized its duty to protect the tournament's integrity. By choosing Canada, FIFA opted for certainty over chaos. The US went from proud host to international pariah in minutes. Soccer fans in host cities were left in disbelief and anger. The US Soccer Federation faced an unprecedented crisis. Years of excitement vanished, replaced by shock and disappointment. The dream was officially dead. The fallout was immediate and seismic. In the US, confusion and fury reigned. Millions of fans wondered about tickets and plans. US Soccer issued a devastated statement, vowing to explore all options. The dream of a home World Cup was now a bitter memory. In Canada, celebration erupted. Vancouver and Toronto became the new soccer capitals. Premier Eby was hailed as a hero. National pride soared. Globally, many saw FIFA's move as necessary to protect the sport. The focus shifted from US cities to Canada. FIFA and the Canadian Soccer Association now faced the monumental task of reorganizing the event in 8 months. New host cities had to be selected, schedules redrawn, and ticket holders informed. While Mexico's role stayed stable, the heart of the tournament moved north. Canada embraced the challenge, electrifying the nation. The landscape of international soccer is forever changed. FIFA's decision set a precedent. Political stability is paramount for hosts. Future bids will be judged on political climate, not just infrastructure. The US faces a long road to rebuild trust with FIFA and the world. The US men's national team will play its home World Cup abroad, a bitter irony. Financial and political fallout will linger for years. Canada now steps into the global spotlight, with a chance to leave a lasting legacy. The final draw, once planned for DC, will likely move to Vancouver. The saga proves the World Cup belongs to the world, not any one nation. The beautiful game endures, free from the shadows of politics.